Well, thank you guys for having me, and thanks for the meal. Richard, when you referred earlier to having to meet in the halls, I had a lot of meetings growing up in the hall at school, and it reminded me this last session I had a house member call over to the office, and typically we'll have meetings in the Senate lounge if we're in session, because we can just walk off the floor and come back in the lounge and have our meeting come on. This particular day we were finished with session and adjourned. It's about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and Jody says, my assistant, she says, Representative wants to meet with you. What representative? And he wants to meet you in the Senate lounge. And I said, well, why don't you want? I'm here. Why don't you want to just come by the office? She said, I don't know, but he was adamant that you'd be in the Senate lounge. And I said, all right. So I go down there, and he explains to me, what his situation is and what he's doing. There's a group coming by to visit with you, and I said, all right, that's fine. And I said, why are we meeting down here? He goes, well, I didn't want anybody to see me in your office. Well, you didn't want anybody? He said, no, I mean, just the group that's here. I didn't want them to see me. And I said, well, so if people continue to do that, I'm going to really get a complex. But anyway, thank you very much for having me. You guys have been very, very good to me, and it's great to have this facility in my district and the ability to brag on the success that we have here, and you guys continue to be a light to the rest of the state on how to run a facility and how to have success. And it's primarily because of the community and the like-minded folks who want to do nothing but excel and try to help and be engaged, and it's tremendous. The sense of community in Northwest Oklahoma is phenomenal. Jeff and I had talked about it earlier. Sometimes it takes something tragic to happen before you realize it and really appreciate it. But we went through the tornado recently, and not only did we see the Woodward community step up, but all the communities from Northwest Oklahoma particularly, but all over the state, stepped up and said, they didn't just say, can I send you some cash? Can I do this? They showed up and said, what do we need to do to help? We're here to help. We're going to get you through this. Friday night football is on the back burner. Basketball games are on the back burner. These are our friends and our neighbors, and that starts here, and that's it's happened here on a smaller level, and that's why Alva is such a successful community that it is, and Northwest Oklahoma. So the community involvement here has been tremendous. That's why you've got a great facility. It's continuing, and with the obvious growth that's going on right now, it's I talked to Sandridge here a while back, and I don't know what the current numbers are, but I know that they've gotten actively involved in trying to hire some of your inmates as they're coming out, and they had 6 or 8, I believe. What is that, right? 7 inmates that they've got working full-time for them now as they come out. So that is a tremendous asset to have as far as having a successful facility where they can come out, have a job, and have something that they can work towards, and a company that they're working for that is invested and wants to see them be as successful as the company is. So that's a tremendous asset. Now, there's also a lot of challenges with the growth and the things that have gone on. And we're not going to talk about traffic today, but I do get plenty of calls on traffic and roads, and it is a challenge. It's these growth issues. Everybody likes growth. They not necessarily like to grow. But that is part of it. But also with this is going on in Woodward as well. It's very difficult to compete with the oil and gas industry as far as pay, and therefore the Department of Corrections has some 1,000 fewer employees than they had a couple years ago. So that is a real challenge and something that has to be addressed. I know that the public sector is never going to pay what the private sector pays, but having the ability to compete, I think, is very important in being able to keep quality employees and keep our facilities safe and keep the state employees safe. So there's some things going on with that. There's I believe Leslie Osborne maybe on the House side has got an interim study going on this coming interim that will address how do we look at not just corrections, but state employees as a whole, and say, if you do an across-the-board raise to all state employees, then the state employees who haven't received any raises for several years are really going to suffer, and the employees or the agencies who have received raises, are going to continue to get those. So looking at the agencies that haven't received those raises and looking at how they compete in their region and in their market with other jobs, and being able to try to compete, or not necessarily compete, but get within reason of the private sector, to where we can maintain quality employees and maintain employees that want to be here and want to work for the state, and that is something that has been a challenge for a long time, but something we're going to have to address, and I think address it pretty quickly, or we're going to be, the warden will be in the yard probably, much like a lot of our principals, driving buses and all kinds of things. So that's one of the main things. A couple of things that we did this last session was House Bill 3052 got the governor out of the partisan parole process and allows the parole board to make the recommendations and get the thing moving without those sitting on the governor's desk for long periods of time, try to get these through the process. So that will be a tremendous impact. And then also I believe it's what the number is, 3052. I'm sorry, House Bill 3052 has to do with getting expanding the parole officers, the probation and parole officer program, and getting those toward on the ankle bracelets and those activities, and making sure that, as Representative Hickman has said repeatedly, we're locking up the people that we're scared of, or locking up people we're mad at, not the people we're scared of. And that's something that is difficult politically to deal with, because we have a lot of people who that is they want to be seen as tough on crime, and their whole goal in the legislature is to say, these guys are criminals, they're killing our communities, and we've got to lock them up, and we've got to put them away forever, and we've got to make sure that they get full punishment. Well, that's exactly right. We want to make sure that we're punishing people that need punished, but a lot of these people need help. And a lot of these people, we need to give them the resources to be successful on their own. And just locking them up for a couple of years and not giving them any sort of resources or any way of being successful is not a way to have any sort of rehabilitation. We've got to show them a way that they can be successful, show them what they can do to change their lives, and give them the resources, i.e. the career tech in the system, giving them a way to be successful, giving them a trade, and getting them out of that lifestyle. And when somebody rolls a bill out there that says, we're gonna increase the punishment for drug abuse, and we're going to increase this punishment, make it more mandatory that they serve more time, and if a lot of the perception out there is, if I vote no on this, then it looks like I'm soft on crime, and I can't go back to my constituents and say I'm soft on crime. So we've got to change a mentality within our caucuses and within that building down on Lincoln of what's the right thing to do, and how do we help Oklahoma become a better state, a safer state with lower drug rates and fewer crimes related to drugs, because the majority of them are related to that. But with that being said, upcoming year, we're going to have, leaving aside everything that we're anticipating, there should be $16 million there that everybody's going to be scrambling for in February when we get there, that did not get appropriated last session. Everybody in the world is going to be after that. We will start addressing that, probably really start having real discussions in early January on what exactly leadership, what direction leadership in the House, leadership in the Senate, and the governor's office wants to go with that. But my goal is to take a large portion of that supplemental and move it towards corrections and allow them to start doing some of the things that they need to do. There's a lot of things that need to be done with corrections, whether it be employees, whether it be facilities and infrastructure. We've got, I compare it to our roads and bridges. We spent years and years of ignoring the facilities and the infrastructure, and now we've got facilities that continues to domino, that the longer you go without taking care of them, the longer you go without addressing those needs, the faster they start to deteriorate. So we're going to have to do some things like that. I don't know if you guys have paid attention, but they've been taking joyrides on tractors from Woodward, and they can just walk off the facility. So we need to. I'm going to do an interim study on what can we do to address that. What is it that helps us to be more successful? I know one of the things would be having more than one guard per 1,000 inmates. It's not good for it's not safe for the community. It's not safe for the employees, and it's really not safe for the inmates. So we really need to dive in and look at some of the roots of the problem, address what's really going on, so that we can really start to turn the corner on how we handle corrections. But thank you for having me. Thank you to your board and the community and director for everything that you guys do. I know you pour your heart and soul into this, and we want to continue to help any way we can. But you guys have got a facility to be proud about, and really, in all honesty, when I don't sit on public safety, but Anthony Sykes, who has been a real advocate on public safety and really has done a lot of touring of all the facilities and checked out all the facilities across the state extensively, has come to me and bragged about this facility and how nice it is and how successful it is. So you're doing things right. We're proud of you. Keep up the good work. Let me know what I can do to help. I'll stay out of your way, but let me know what I can do to help, and I appreciate you, and I appreciate your board and all the community for your participation in this.